続きまして、ソウル大学国際大学院教授、パク・チョルヒ先生にご講演いただきます。パク・チョルヒ先生は、アメリカ・コロンビア大学にて、政治学博士号を取得され、現代日本政治を専攻としておられました。日本国立政策研究大学院大学外交安保研究院にて助教授を、コロンビア大学、慶応大学、神戸大学においては客員教授としてのご経験もあり、現在はソウル大学国際大学院にて国際学科を教えながら、日本研究所所長も兼任されております。それでは、パク・チョルヒ先生、ご講演をお願いいたします。
ご紹介ありがとうございました。Thank you for inviting me to this prestigious forum. And thank you for giving me this very wonderful Karyushi. I enjoyed too much. After changing to Karyushi, I feel much more comfortable. I am in a mood for speak. So I wanted to keep timeline as much as possible so that others can talk much more freely. First of all, I wanted to state my opinion about how I see the situation in East Asia. I think the world is drawing more attention to East Asia. First, because East Asia is a center of economic powerhouse. China is rising, Japan is revitalizing, and then Korea became a very dynamic country. So the Japan, China, Korea all together constitutes a major source of economic dynamism in the world, and not only in East Asia. But at the same time, this region is right in the middle of a power transition or power shift, not only in the region but also in a global sense. And it gives us a kind of opportunities and the challenges at the same time. First of all, the rise of China is a challenge. I think China is no more a sleeping giant, as somebody said. And China recognizes itself as a great power, as the term like New Style Great Power Relationship suggests. Also, China is getting more confident and then trying to move around. And I think China is not thinking about challenging U.S. hegemony at all, but in a regional sense, China is trying to gradually modify the regional order to their own advantage, as the air defense identification zone suggests, or establishment of Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. So China is gradually moving toward a kind of modifying, not revising the word, but slightly revising, modifying the regional order, which is a kind of a challenge to the neighboring countries. Also, Japan, looking at the rise of China, is very alarmed by China's assertive move. And then Japan, especially under Prime Minister Abe, is try to revitalize and re-empower Japan, and then taking a lot of the policies to renovate its system. Especially, my sense is that Japan is trying to they wanted to have a much more freer hand in the defense measures. Also, economically, they wanted to revitalize by taking all the economic measures they can think of. Japan is no more a restrained power like in the past, and then try to show the will to become a normal country. My way of thinking is that the Japan under Abe, Prime Minister Abe, is trying to achieve two things. One, defense revisionism, and then history revisionism. I think it's legitimately justifiable to change the defense postures of Japan, especially in the context of rise of China. And then when you have a conflict or tension around the Senkaku Island issue. But history revision is producing unnecessary tensions with immediate neighbors. So anyway, this I don't think many Japanese are realizing in a very serious way, but this history revision is kind of making the immediate neighbors very uneasy, and how to handle a renewed Japan is a kind of big challenge for a country like Korea. Another challenge we are facing is definitely a Korean peninsula. As Professor Yu just mentioned, North Korea is developing nuclear weapon system combined with the missile delivery system. And then North Korea is very unpredictable and unstable under the leadership of Kim Jong-un, even though Kim Jong-un has puts a strong hold on power. Still, we think that their behavior is quite unpredictable. For example, they are suggesting the idea that they are going to send a support team to Asian Games next month in September. But at the same time, they are shooting missiles every week to the East Sea or wherever. So kind of, what is your real intention? That gives a kind of very much a kind of anxious minds us, and then North Korea is looked as a kind of a very provocative dissatisfier and destabilizer. South Korea is in between China and Japan. One of my colleagues wrote a book called Korea is between ally and partner. So ally United States and China is a partner. Of course, Korea wants to have a very good relationship with China to take best advantage of its economic rise. But at the same time, we have to have a very good relationship with the United States and Japan, especially when you think of the security of South Korea. So all in all, what you see at the moment is more tensions and conflicts among Northeast Asian neighbors, and it creates a lot of instability and uneasiness among us. And I think that is coming from three different layers of lack of something. The first lack, something that we lack, is that the lack of a regional security mechanism. Even though we have ARF or CSCAP or other the mechanisms of communication, still it does not work as a kind of a collective security system that creates a concert of nations in this region. So we are not fully satisfied about the regional mechanism of security cooperation. Second lack is lack of a crisis prevention and crisis management system. One of my American friends told me that they're not worried about Korean peninsula at all. North Korea attack, forget it. It will not happen so easily. But they are very much worried about Senkaku Islands issue. Even though Japan and China never want the physical contact between the two, possibly that can happen unexpectedly. So how to create a kind of crisis prevention mechanism, crisis management system is a kind of we are desperately in need. We're thinking about Japan-China rivalry, especially in the maritime arena. The third lack is that the lack of trust among the regional powers. Everybody would agree that Japan and China have a troubled relationship at this moment. Even Korea and Japan have a very troubled relationship. I'm a so-called Japan specialist. Many of my friends who were very much restrained and then very calm got very emotional these days. 뭐 이요. 도대모이. They talk to me like that. So it shows that we have a kind of emotional frustration among us. In Korea, many things that Japan initiated is disliked and then critically reviewed by major newspapers, which means we lack trust among us. So how to create the trust among the regional powers is a big challenge. And our president Park Geun-hye says the so-called Asian paradox. This is a very paradoxical because in East Asia, economic interdependence is increasing. Human transactions are increasing. Culturally understanding each other very well, but the political military conflicts are deepening. and then historical, territorial, the controversies are never going down. So this is a paradoxical situation. So how to solve this issue is a kind of big challenge. I think it's time for us to rethink about comprehensive security. I think I like the title of this session. As many of you know, the concept of comprehensive security was developed, coined by the Japanese administrations. As far as I know, the first Japanese administration that advocated this comprehensive security was Ohira administration. And then it included not only military security, but also economic security and human security. So the security should be a comprehensive one rather than a very limited scope of security. But at the moment, if I look at the kind of discussion and then the empirical dynamics, we lost the balance in the concept of comprehensive security. Now, we are all talking about nation, state, national sovereignty at the expense of any regional cooperation. It's a kind of state and nation comes first. That's the reason why nationalism is a kind of first cause of action in many countries. At least the Korea, Japan, and China, we see the rise of nationalism. And we are only talking about the military security, how to strengthen our security. But the security is also usually in the context of military things. And we are losing the sight about the soft power. Also, I'm saying this not because I'm in Okinawa, but they're all talking about central state government system, security system. Security cannot be monopolized by the central state. I think a local government and then ordinary citizens should play a big role in constructing comprehensive security. So what do you have to do? I think especially the place like Okinawa, we have to take best advantage of not only the location and the power that Okinawa has. First of all, I think people in Okinawa understands better than anybody else in this region that war should be avoided. And many people are talking about security and making the other country as an enemy. No, we have to make friends. There is a two way of making your country secure. One is making your country stronger. But on the other hand, you have to lessen the threat level of tension between the countries. So I think that should be done. At the same time, as Professor Takahara mentioned, the Okinawan people understand the emotions. I like Okinawa because you have a good memory of history, and then you understand the spirit of victimized people. I learned that the saying that the Okinawan saying then, "Nuchiru takara," the inochi is takara. This is the spirit of the peace movement in Okinawa and then all the liberal element in the Japanese society. So I think that spirit should be cherished. And then the geographic, the advantage of this location is that all the countries are crisscrossing this area, and then Okinawa stands at the center, not only geographically, but also you're having a cultural diversity. So I just say that Okinawa should be a kind of a leading engine of the rediscovering the balance in the concept of comprehensive security. First of all, Okinawa should be a center of a dialogue for security cooperation. Also, Okinawa should be a center of regional collaboration because you're located right in the middle. Also, Okinawa has a very strong soft power. So you should promote the soft power connection in this region. Also, you can make people mixed by making all of them a transnational citizens. So my final say about this comprehensive security is that what should be done, especially in Okinawa? One, I think Japan. I think this forum is one of these fora But holding a high, in addition to this, the private level fora, I want to Okinawa hold a kind of much more high level security dialogue, so that enhancing the understanding among nations in this region. Also, how to talk about how to reduce tensions and understand the other party much more deeply. And I think this is a part of East Asia Peace Forum. So it's a kind of putting countries into the habits of cooperation is very important. And when I come to Okinawa, when I said to my students and my colleagues, where are you going? I'm going to Okinawa. And all of them told me that, I want to go with you. Why? This is the best tourism spot in the region. So kind of, so they promoting a kind of soft power image of Okinawa and then making it a kind of a hot tourist spot. I heard that you have a fora of Jeju Island, Okinawa, Bali, and Phuket. Those 4 islands are the most favorite areas that I wanted to spend my summer vacation, which I cannot. And then finally I wanted to see that the Okinawan people lead a kind of transnational peace movement, not only for peace of Okinawa, not only for peace of Japan. I want the Okinawan people become a leader of and the transnational citizen movement for peace. Thank you very much for your attention.
パク・チョリヒ先生、ありがとうございました。